everybody, how you doing? It's Beetle Brad, and today I'm doing a viewer's request who wants a video about this guy in the corner, Pete Best. So, yeah, if you're looking at the picture, it's Pete Best, Paul McCartney, George Harrison, and then John Lennon in the top corner there, looking tall. But yeah, this whole video is going to be about Pete Best, and I think you'll find it absolutely fascinatingly fun. So stay tuned. Don't tune me out. You're going to enjoy this. Special request from one of my viewers. Yeah. Hello. Yeah, I'm back. That's for sure. But yeah, today I'm talking about Pete Best. So we could go by his real name, Randolph Pete Best. And he was born on the 1941 on the 24th of November. So I'm not going to go into too much detail about Pete Best because there's a lot of videos out there that have already kind of covered Pete Best. But just a little brief, he was with the Beatles from 1960 to 1962 when Ringo Starr took his place, or Richard Starkey. Yeah, so actually I'm just going to kind of go through and show you some fun, cool collectibles to have you, my viewer, to think outside the box. So instead of just thinking, well, this is Pete Best and, you know, another boring story about Pete Best, I'm going to show a little bit of different fun things that you can kind of maybe look for or collect for your own collection and go, I didn't know that was out there. Yeah. So to start off with, I'm starting with something that's kind of fun, kind of cool and rare. These are unauthorized, but they're very neat. These are Beatle bubblegum cards over here, and I get the Yellow Submarine series. But these are unauthorized Pete Best and the Beatles bubblegum cards. Actually very cool, and now quite difficult to find. Here's the next set. And there's kind of the company to kind of show you who did those. He actually goes this way. There you go. I know some people be interested in knowing who did these. These aren't exactly all kinds of different orders, so I apologize. They're not really straight or anything like that. There's some up and down and then other ways. But I just wanted to start off with these. And these are actually kind of cool. I have not seen these in several years. So that's kind of neat. And like I said, there's the company once again. So for those of you that are my deeper collectors and looking for that, you may want to look for those. So then we'll start off with a very, very good DVD, which I highly recommend. From Beetle Brad, recommendation of a great DVD. This is excellent. So for those of you who have not seen this, I think you ought to pick it up. And for those of you that have this or have seen it, they know exactly what I'm talking about. So that's really good. Excellent to have. Then this other DVD it's out there. I think it's even on YouTube. You can watch it. But this is just my DVD copy of the Beatles and Pete Best in kind of the early days. And it's actually very good. Very, very good. So if you get a chance, don't do it now. But do it, and if after this video is over, you may want to watch that video. It's actually excellent. Then this album, so show you a few albums that Pete Best were either shown or part of. Yeah, so that's definitely a Young Beatles in the circle around. That's Pete Best there. So I'm just going to whip through a couple albums to kind of show you some of the albums that he was on. Yeah, so that's kind of neat, that one. And then next up is an unauthorized, but I think this is a fantastic bootleg. I really like this one a lot. This is a good one. Recommend that highly. Now, I mean, there's some really good boots that haven't been released of some very good songs and some good stuff. This is a kind of a neat one as well. That one's really good too. This one Pete played drums when Ringo left the band during the White Album. Just kidding. He didn't leave. Pete Best. Well, Ringo did leave, but Pete Best didn't fill in for Ringo during the White Album. Just kidding, to see if you're paying attention. Yeah, that would have been fun, Pete Best during that. This is a neat one. This is Tony Sheridan, which Tony Sheridan, we could do another video on Tony Sheridan being kind of the singer of the Beatles during the Hamburg days and stuff like that. And Pete Best on this as well. So that's kind of neat. This is another kind of a fun album to have and to add to your collection. And then there's this one. A good one. And I'm sure you out there, my viewers, have got some that I probably don't have, but it's kind of fun to show you some of these, that's for sure. And you know, you look for things and you're always out, you know, as a collector, I'm always looking for stuff. And this is actually, I never had this, and I've recently picked this up, and this is a very hard one to get. I mean, I don't know why, but it's kind of neat. It's got all the early news clippings of the Beatles and Pete Best. This is actually getting to be pretty pricey of a book. If you look for this online, eBay, keep looking, because it's out there. Maybe you can get it for a better price than what they're advertising, because I've seen this go as high as at least $100 for this. Yeah, I know, that's crazy money. Or 100 pounds. Yeah, my English people would know about that. Yeah, so, you know, even went for like 100 pounds. So it's just crazy money, you know. That's for sure. Yep. So, but anyway, this is kind of a neat one to look for if you're interested in stuff like this, which I am. Yeah, definitely. As a Beatles collector, that's a nice one to get. Then this is kind of neat. This is from early Beatles stuff, and this is them in Germany. And this is kind of a studio album. That's kind of a fun one if you want to look for that one. Then there's this one, which is really cool. It's kind of neat to get a color picture of that, you know, kind of a color picture. That's a real good one as well. So that's another one you may want to look for. Okay, next album is this one, which is a really great Beatles. It's the Beatles Anthology, which is the very first one. And you may say, Beatle Brad, why are you showing the anthology? Well, Pete Best does show up on a few of the songs on this, but this is really kind of fascinating. All the pictures in here are the Beatles, early Beatles, and if you remember, this was the very first picture I showed you when the Beatles and Pete Best. But this part is torn out right there, if you can kind of see that. So that's torn, and the reason that's torn is just kind of saying, you know, stripping away to the Beatles, and everybody just kind of noticed that. But here's the interesting thing. This was put out, let me grab this back again. This was put out, the Pete Best Band, and as far as I know, this is only on CD. This is actually fantastic, and this was just a little bit later than the anthology, but this is really good to get. I really like this Pete Best Band one. There's some books I could show you with Pete Best, but I didn't want to make this too terribly long. But Pete is almost throwing it back into the Beatles and back into their face for the anthology, and actually the, excuse the pun, I want to say ripoff, because like I said, here's the torn part of that picture, and here is the piece that goes inside that for the picture. Isn't that something? Yeah, I don't know if too many people have shown that, but yeah, and that kind of fascinating that is the picture with that goes into that piece. But yeah, pick up this CD. Like I said, this is an excellent CD. I think you would enjoy this. And for my last item, this is very cool. One of my viewers sent this to me. Very good friend, and I appreciate it so very much. This is a album of the Beatles, but it's signed by Pete Best. Very cool, and here's my letter of authenticity and all that kind of stuff. But I thought I'd end my video with that and showing the record, which is very cool, of Pete Best's autograph, definitely. So I was very glad to get that album. Thank you very much to my viewer who sent that to me, and also the viewer who wanted to see this video about Pete Best. And like I said, just having you think outside the box. And I'm feeling a lot better. For those of you who didn't know, I've had an ear infection and it's closed up my ear and can't hear and all that. So I'm starting off to go to a specialist, but we're just taking it one day at a time. But I thank you so very much for watching. And I've hit over 4,000 viewers. Well, subscribers, actually. So I've got 4,000 subs. They're all out in the middle of the ocean. The subs are waiting out there in the yellow submarine. Okay, moving right along, because probably I'll lose them by keep doing this joke that didn't go. But yeah, so thank you so very much to my new subscribers. Hello. Glad to have you along. And to my older subscribers, you guys are the rock of Beatle Brad. And you guys are family. And now the new people that are here, you guys are family too. And I appreciate each and every one of you being here. Definitely. And I thank you so very much for watching. And my viewer who wanted the Pete Best video, there you go, lad. So thank you again for tuning in. And as I say on my channel, I'm out of here. Take care, everybody. See you on the next video. Bonus footage. Here we go. Just thought I'd show you a few pictures of the Casbah, where the early days with Pete Best and the Beatles performed down in this basement. So let me show you a few pictures. And this is the entryway into the downstairs area where they performed plenty of times. Then there's this room, which is pretty much the main stage with their instruments, and pretty neat. And the painting in the back there, which is cool. The John Lennon painted with the rest of them, and some of the other paintings as well John did in the basement of this building also, the house actually. So yeah, pretty cool picture. Definitely. And there's this picture. Just going to show you a couple more just to wrap it up, but these were kind of hard to pass up to not showing them to you. This is the front of the book. If you're interested in getting this, this has a lot of fantastic pictures and a lot of very rare pictures that I didn't even show you of Pete Best, and a lot of other pictures of the Beatles themselves in the early days of this. But this is definitely a pickup if you guys want a good book. So like I said, thanks again for watching. See ya.